Hey, what's happening, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Let There Be Talk. It is Monday, June 13th, and this episode is brought to you by my incredible sponsor, Earthquaker Devices. If you play guitar, bass, or any kind of instrument or any kind of music, you want to get yourself a stomp box, plug it in, and sound cool. You know what I'm talking about, a foot pedal, a guitar, effect. You know what I mean? Those things that fucking super cool kids stomp on and look cool with their instruments while doing it. Radiohead, Jimi Hendrix, AC/DC, everyone uses a stomp box of some sort. And my sponsor, Earthquaker, has the best ones. Handmade in Akron, Ohio, right where Devo's from, so that's pretty fucking cool. And they're super comedy nerds there, so how cool is that? A bunch of people sitting around listening to podcasts. Matter of fact, I want to shout out to all the people at the Earthquaker factory today on this podcast and say thanks for tuning in. And you guys fucking stop sniffing that solder. Wear a mask. Don't be sniffing solder. Anyway, earthquakerdevices.com. Check them out on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. They're running all kinds of cool little video demos of their pedals now. And they're just great people. Also, they got curly cords and badass shirts. And they got amps now. They're making fucking amps. They're unstoppable, and I can't wait to get out there and do some comedy so I can go check their factory. Earthquaker Devices. All right, guys. Happy Monday there. We're just listening to a little brand new Butch Walker there, who is my guest. Incredible human. And didn't even know him at all. Somehow, in my 35 years or so of being in the music and comedy world, never met Butch Walker, which is just crazy. And we have a mutual friend, Mr. Jacob Dillon, and we never hung out, which is just still blows my mind after doing this podcast. Let's see. This guy, I guess I just started following him on Instagram or something, and he was following me back, and I was looking at the shit he was into, and I was like, well, this guy is fucking one of me, man. He's like a twin brother. Look at the shit he's into. And then I look into what he's done, and then it starts to ring with me. I go, oh yeah, I know who this guy is. I've just never met him. You know, he worked with Ryan Adams a couple years ago. Ryan produced one of his records. He's produced shitloads of stuff. He worked on one of my favorite records, Pete Yorn's "The Day I Forgot." And what else has he done? I'm not going to give it all away because it's all on the podcast, but he worked with WEEZER, which is pretty fucking cool. He's also wrote some number one hit songs, which is just amazing. If you're in the music biz, that's the hardest thing to do, to write a number one song. There's only, so many people that have that gold medal. But I hung out with him yesterday. We went riding. We had lunch, sushi. We cruised up the PCH. The sun was out. Malibu, the beautiful ocean. And I hadn't been out to Malibu in a while. And I asked myself, why haven't I been out here in a while? And sometimes I realize I'm too busy for my own good. I need to pull over to the side of the road for a minute and enjoy the view, It's so funny how you move to LA or somewhere beautiful and you're like, this place is beautiful, and then you just never really see it again because you get into the fucking rat race and you forget, you might as well live in a concrete box because you just stop looking around. For me, I'm staring at my phone, I'm hustling work, I'm podcasting, I'm sleeping, whatever. And you just forget to enjoy life. So to hang out with Butch yesterday, it was a serious reminder in more ways than one. We get into a couple tragedies he's had, and it reminds you to enjoy life, and especially after this horrific weekend in Orlando. Very, very, just horrible, man. I never understood. I don't understand racism, and I don't understand homophobia, and I don't understand a lot of rage and hate. It's very short amount of time that we're here on the earth. After yesterday, like I said, I realized, we got to just, we got to love each other. As dumb as that sounds, man, you might think it's corny or whatever. It's true. It's true. Everyone's different, and that's what makes this planet cool. Just embrace it. It's tough to talk about because it's deep stuff. It's brutal stuff. And it's 2016. I'm never going to understand how people carry that much rage or people walking around. People walking around, man. Just not digging stuff. It's strange. But take a deep breath and look around at what you got and be happy you got your health and you're alive. Anyway, I don't want to get all heavy. That's craziness. It's Monday and we're trying to keep our smiles on, man. But yeah, so I think I really needed that day yesterday out with Butch. Just a couple dudes enjoying life, laughing, telling rock stories, and riding Harley Davidsons down the PCH. There's nothing, I can't describe what that's like, just cruising down the coastline. And the waves and the view, it was perfect. The fog burned off after we got out of his studio. We jumped on the bikes and started riding, and I know Butch is going to be, I can tell he's going to be in my life for the rest of my life. He's one of those guys. I'm like, wow, wish I knew you for, since the 80s. The guy played in an 80s rock band like me. I cannot believe we never rubbed shoulders or hung out or played music together or anything, but it's very cool. And he's here today. And it's a great episode. And also, if you're a new listener from last week's Josh Homme, Queens of the Stone Age episode, that episode was the biggest episode I've ever had. And man, I can't thank everybody for the love and the emails and the tweets that I received over that episode. And yes, I could talk to him for 4 or 5 hours, and I hope to get to talk to him again. But if not, epic. I'll take it. It was a fucking monumental moment on Let There Be Talk. Just like every episode, though. I mean, I love every episode. I really do. I don't have anyone on unless I love them or respect them or dig what they're doing or their art or anything. So, anyway. And thanks for the reviews. Keep leaving those reviews on iTunes. Takes 1 second. I'm trying to get to 1,000 reviews. I think I'm at, so what am I at? Let's look here real quick. I am at, I'm dropping the ball here. I'm always dropping the ball on these intros. I just go for it on the intro. I'm like, oh yeah, we got this. And then I start doing it, and I'm like, oh, I don't have anything set up here. Okay, hold on. First of all, I wanted to give let's see here. Read a couple of the reviews. They're pretty fucking good. Candles lit. Let's see here. All right, so I'm at 622 reviews. Here's a good one right here from Burnin' Love by Burnin' Love. I have a wide variety of 9 or 10 podcasts I keep in heavy rotation. Comedy, history, music, etc. Usually cherry-picking episodes based on my interest in the guest or topic. Dean Del Rey's Let There Be Talk has become the only podcast I have set to download every show. Great interviewer, great guest, great topics. Very funny and insightful. Must listen if you are a fan of real rock and roll and comedy. Thank you, brother. Tommy Boy left a review. If you want to listen to a cool, laid-back comic who just talks about life and interviews celebrities on the level that will never see anyone else do, check out Let There Be Talk with Dean Del Rey. All types of people and guests. Very cool. Anyway, great. Keep it going. One last thing before I get Butch on here. A massive show was just announced. I'm coming back to the Del Rey at the El Rey, and that is on July 19th here in Los Angeles. On the show is going to be Mark Maron, Joey Diaz, myself, and 2 more surprise guests. So get your tickets right away. Mark Maron, Joey Diaz, myself, and a couple other surprise guests. If you go to theelray.com and enter the code DELRAY, DELRAY, $10 ticket. That's July 19th. Let's fill this fucker up, man. There's nothing better than a sold-out El Rey. You got to just go see comedy in there. It's a beautiful theater, and we're putting together something special for you. So July 19th. Also, July 22nd, 23rd, Toronto. I'll be at the Corner, Toronto, July 22nd, 23rd. And then I'm off to New York City for about 2 weeks to do comedy and some podcasting. All kinds of New York guests will be on, which is incredible. I haven't been out to the East Coast except once to do comedy, and that was like 3 years ago at Caroline's. So July 26th through August 9th, I will be doing spots all over New York City, and I'll be talking about those as we get closer. I love all you guys. Also, don't forget, right around the corner, I will be headlining 5 nights at Denver Comedy Works, June 28th through July 2nd. Let's pre-4th of July, candles lit, Roman candles lit. All right, let's get into it right here. Butch Walker. All right, here we are, another episode of Let There Be Talk. Great guest today, Butch Walker. How are you, dude? We're at your studio.
Yeah, nice to finally hang.
God, it's so weird. I don't even know how I started following you or you were following me or whatever. It's so, like, I start looking at your Instagram and I go, oh, well, this guy fucking gets it. I just felt like you were like my twin brother or something.
Totally.
FXRs,
yep.
Porsche 911s,
yep.
Pinball, vintage gear, everything about it. I was like, yeah.
Well, our buddy, our mutual tie was Jacob Dillon.
Right.
Who actually had told me, he said, dude, you have to hang with Dean. I can't believe you haven't done that. And I was like, well, I guess I will.
Yeah.
You know,
it's weird. I've never met you.
No, we've never met, and we've probably brushed arms in clubs over the years many times.
It's so fucking weird because, you know, people would hit me up all the time. Hey, you got to have Butch Walker on. I was like, I don't even know who that is. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm like, how do I
That's
not?
a common response.
But here's a great thing about it. You have a kind of a career that it's not explosive and it's not completely unknown, which I think in the long run, if you can just be Jeff Tweedy or a couple notches down below, you're good for life, you know?
I like that. I like that model.
I believe it because you're doing good stuff. You don't ever have to worry about being shot through the stratosphere, because I can't tell you how many times people say to me, like, whatever happened to such and such band? Like, they used to say that to me about the Black Crowes all the time.
I know, and it's like, that's, no one wants to hear that about their band.
Yeah.
When you're still actively working.
And I'm like, what do you mean whatever happened? What happened to you as a fan is what I'm fucking asking. How do you part-time it as like, oh, I'm into Hard to Handle or sometimes Salvation, but you're not into Amorica or Three Snakes or whatever they did later on?
Yeah, which were some of their best records.
And God.
And to me, it's kind of like you have radio fans and then you have real fans.
Yeah, and here's the thing, and I learned this playing music for 25 years. If you have, and I read an article, and I've talked about it over and over and over on here, if they say if you have 1,000 true fans, you can do art for your whole life.
Oh, that's probably true.
Because they said if each fan spent about $20 like on you each year, say a record or a T-shirt or whatever, there would be some enough income to keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I think that's very true. And if you can, I think the big thing is you just have to keep really. You have to keep charging and make good work. And I know that's subjective with a lot of people because, you can, especially in my world where I've never made the same record twice.
Yeah, I noticed that about your stuff.
And that pisses people off so much. But it's also gives a lot of the more open-minded people something new to chew on every time. And I like those people that are open-minded about that. And that's fine if it pisses off certain people that are like, oh, I wish you made a record like this one back then. What happened to you? But, I mean, dude, I don't make records for them. I make them for myself. But the big thing is if I want to go out and still, sell out a venue in every town, which I'm fortunate enough that at this, day and age at 46, I'm still able to do that. I think you just really have to, and I don't want to come off as pretentious here or pompous, but you just have to give a damn. You got to get out there and be good. You got to be good live, and you got to be able to just make it a conversation with people. Make them feel part of it. And I think that's a big thing, man. If you don't have that, then you do get a lot of those radio fans that are going to be gone the minute they stop playing your music on a fashionable, trendy station or whatever,
What I find is if you're, and as corny as it always sounds, but everybody says it, if you're just honest and when you're out there and you meet the people after shows and you appreciate them coming out, it goes a long way.
Yes.
Agreed. Because, man, without those people, we do our art, but we don't do. We're just here.
Yeah, totally. And I grew up playing, 300 shows a year for 15 years, I guess, 20, and I think it was just part of my. It was in my DNA to hang out after the show and have drinks and shoot the shit with everybody till the last person was gone. And I think it's just because I didn't really have a lot of friends in high school. Yep. And I think a lot of people that come to my shows might be those same people. And it's good because we have a common bond. We're kind of like the Island of Misfit Toys a little bit. And I don't get to that much anymore. I wish I could hang out after.
Because you got to hit the road.
Well, I'm also I'm not 26 anymore. Yeah. And I still throw it down on stage for 2 hours plus a night, and to a point I'm usually in a lot of pain afterwards, and my voice is shredded afterwards from screaming all night. And if I hang out and talk after now, I can't play the next night.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I some people don't understand. It looks like I'm just standing up there talking for an hour. But I'm doing 2 shows in one night. So it's 1 hour, then a half hour turnaround, and then another 1 hour.
It's so hard.
Yeah, and that's mental. Rock and roll. I just said it recently. I'm 50, and I hadn't played rock.
Looking good.
Thanks. I haven't played rock loud in a long time, and on my birthday, I did this big concert where we did the Highway to Hell record with all kinds of star jammers and stuff. And in that hour and 15 minutes that I played the AC/DC stuff and we closed with Ace of Spades, when I walked off stage, I was tore up for like a week. Oh, yeah. It is crazy how loud music can knock you out like a weapon.
Physical.
Oh, my God, right?
Yeah, it's turbulence.
And it's everything. I'm using my body. I'm using my voice. I'm using my mind. And I'm and I'm around this loud volume. And I was like, holy shit, which makes me worship Springsteen even more.
I can't believe that guy. He is a superhuman.
He really is.
He's a superhero. It's like there's nobody in that good a shape at 63, 4, 5, whatever it is now. There's nobody out there that can play that long and endure it and care as much as he does every night. That's why he is the biggest artist in rock and roll.
He's insane.
He cares.
Also, I think if you're rich and you're out of shape and fat, fuck you.
Fuck you.
Because
exactly.
You can hire a nutritionist, a chef and a gym right in your house.
Yep.
And it's pretty minimal work.
Instead, they hire people to write their songs for them.
Yeah.
And hire
anything to get
people to do the
easier
work
and
for 'em.
easier.
Yeah. I think that's one thing I was touching on a minute ago, but I didn't want to name names, but it's like a lot of my idols, that you grow up worshiping, and I can understand why some people are like, oh man, I hope they just play the old stuff, because a lot of them make records that sound phoned in. Now.
Yeah.
And that sucks, I think.
I saw The Who last week, and they fucking crushed.
They killed. I saw them play about 5 years ago, and it was still great.
Man, and I can't stand when people go, yeah, but what about Daltrey? Can he hit the notes? And it's like, first of all,
you try hitting those notes.
You try hitting the notes,
at 60,
and he looked great.
Yeah,
and he's
a rock.
Yeah, he was enjoying what he was doing. But what really fucking blew my mind was Townsend. Wow,
who should be dead.
He should be dead.
He is dead probably in a lot of ways. But he's not on stage, man. Dude is killing it.
I saw a lot of great concerts last week, and I was thinking, sometimes I'm at a concert and I think, and I talked to somebody about this last week. I was like, you know what? I'm good on concerts. Yeah, I've probably seen 2,000 shows.
Yep.
And then there's other times, like I saw Brian Jonestown Massacre, and I was like, this is fucking great.
That's fun. That's fun.
It's so weird. But to see The Who play all their hits, they came out and said, this is going to be a greatest hits, and they played like 23 songs. They were all hits.
I mean, that's the dream concert right there.
Right.
When you get that from your favorite band that you grew up on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I know. I was... there's some bands I go see, like I love the Counting Crows, and I can't stand when I go and they just don't play the songs like the record at all. Look, I'm cool with Black Crowes jamming out a song for 30 minutes. I'm cool with Grateful Dead jams and stuff. But I want the songs to have the melody and the fucking vibe, Like, to me, Perfect Blue Buildings should be sang like August and Everything After. Should sound like that. Because it's so hard to craft a song that great,
Yeah, I think that a lot of them, they just get bored with it and they want to change it up to whatever it is they're feeling at that point.
Yeah.
And part of me understands that as an artist, and like making records and changing over the years and evolving, and where you're like, oh, I still like the lyrics to this song, but I can't get down with the production of it.
I get it.
And but at the same time, I think the melody is key.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. To me, it's one of the golden gods of music.
Yeah,
it's what you hum and it's what you remember.
As musicians and not musicians in the audience.
Exactly. So I started going down a little bit of a rabbit hole. Usually I don't look up anybody when I interview them because I
think that's cool.
I'm not that guy, but I needed to know a little bit of things about you because I seriously knew nothing about you. And I'm a Americana freak. I love that era of, guess it's around 92. A record comes out that I think is one of the greatest records of the 90s, Pete Yorn's The Day I Forgot.
Great record.
Unfucking believable record. Been trying to have Pete Yorn on the show for like 3 years.
Really?
The guy's like a ghost. Yeah. I've never even seen Pete Yorn out in public.
Yeah, he's pretty translucent.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, I've hung out. I've actually worked with him. I worked on his follow-up record after that. And,
now, it said you worked on that record too? Did you or no? The Day I Forgot. Did you have a song on it or what? What's going on with that?
Was that his first record? Second record.
Second record.
I think that's the one. Yeah.
It has like "Come Back Home."
Yeah.
For a love.
Forgive me if I like completely like.
Of course, it's a long time.
I can't remember
ago.
half the things I've done.
I know.
But I believe we worked on that record, and I had like we did a couple of good jams on that one. But he was great. He was such a awesome dude. Like, he's one of the nicest kids. You know?
That was a great era of music. It's funny. You got Wallflowers, Bringing Down the Horse.
Man, what a record.
You got Counting Crows, August and Everything After. You got the Pete Yorn record, Day I Forgot. And he had one before that everybody loved that had the hit on it. But that fucking record. But that era, and then we get into some alt country. Wilco, Sunvolt, all that. Uncle Tupelo, of course, before that. But that kind of music really fucking knocks me out. I mean, as much as 70s rock, and sometimes even more. Of course, I think from growing up with like Carole King and Cat Stevens and Neil Young, that shit really resonates with me. Songwriting, right?
Yeah, all that stuff. I mean, I think to me, it's timeless. You know, you can play that music till it'll never be unfashionable because it never was.
Exactly.
And so it's like it'll just always be, if there's a good song in there, then there's no way to hide that.
Yeah.
With beats and keyboards and all that shit. It's like
true.
You can really hear a good song through it. Because I mean, if you take some of the shit on the radio, and God love pop music, I work on a lot of it, and there's some good pop music out there, and I like to try to work on the good stuff. But if you take some of those songs and strip them down and play them acoustically, it's like a Andy Samberg skit, lyrically, and it's like this is ridiculous. It's all about the music and the production. Whereas I love lyricists, and I love I love a feeling you can get from a singer's voice and that kind of thing. And that's why I think a lot of that Heartland stuff probably tugs at both of us in that way.
Yeah. So you're growing up in Georgia, right?
Yeah.
And what gets you into music? What age do you start playing? And, who is it, a band?
I'll tell you, it was a friend of mine brought so I had a Monkees record. That was one of my first records. I didn't even know who the Beatles were. Right. I lived in a small town that really it was just whatever was on the radio playing.
And Monkees, are you watching the TV show?
Yes, absolutely.
Gotcha.
This was pre-internet. Pre-extended cable package.
It's 5-7 channels.
Yeah, slider box on top of the thing.
Remember that? I forgot about the slider box.
And so I would sit there and like turn it and find like Turner or whatever, and they would play the Monkees. And anything I could watch that had a live band playing on it or live music and people holding guitars and playing drum kits was fascinating.
How old were you?
8.
Yeah, 8.
8, 9, and then that kind of stuff just resonated with me, but I freaked out because I never saw instruments. I grew up in a Bible Belt small town where most people weren't allowed to play in rock bands. It was like Footloose, Yeah. You couldn't
some Satan shit,
thought
right?
It was Satan shit. I can't tell you how many times I got asked if I worshiped the devil when my hair started growing out.
It's so weird. What year are we talking? It sounds like we're talking about the 50s.
I would look at them dead in the eye and go, yes.
Yeah. Sounds like we're talking about 50s, but what? We're talking late 70s, early 80s? Yeah. Unbelievable.
In Cartersville, Georgia, which is hip now a little bit. But
is it?
But back then it definitely was not. And
what's the close big city?
Atlanta.
Oh, Atlanta.
Yeah, in Atlanta, I lived there. Ultimately, I lived in Atlanta for 16 years and was like a proud native of Atlanta, still am.
Right. Love that Tabernacle.
Totally.
Bill Burr shot a special there.
Cut my teeth in those venues. I'm playing the Tabernacle on this next.
What's the one in Buckhead? The Roxy?
The Roxy.
I played there.
Yeah, it's now called I think it's now called the Buckhead Theater or something like that.
Great barbecue down the street from there.
Yes.
Wow.
Fat Matt's Rib Shack and all that stuff.
I love Atlanta.
Yeah. Fox Brothers.
Except fuck the airport, right? With their giant airport. It's so, like 5 miles to get to a fucking gate.
It's so ridiculous.
What is that shit?
People come to Atlanta and they go, I didn't really like Atlanta. I was like, where did you go? Well, I just went to the airport and I stayed at an airport hotel. I'm like, that's not Atlanta.
What an idiot.
So, but Cartersville was a cute little small town, with like just kind of a storybook downtown train station type vibe. But you couldn't get music there, like rock and roll music, and not easily accessible, like not live.
The only time I ever saw a live, right?
Only time I saw a live band play in there was once a year on July 4th at the park. There would be like a cover band, and I would just be front row center because I couldn't believe there was a band playing instruments.
Yeah.
And I was so starved for it. I'd sit there and watch these guys play Cars by Gary Newman and shit, and I'd be like, oh my God, this is the best band ever.
Oh, I love Gary Newman.
Yeah,
man.
and it didn't matter. I was like, these guys they're playing Uncomfortably Numb. It's introducing me to music, I would go to Six Flags theme park in Atlanta just to sit and watch the rock and roll cover band play in one of those little sheds.
Oh yeah.
I would sit and watch them play all night.
No shit.
And I dreamed of doing that.
Now, were you telling your parents like I want to play music?
Absolutely, and they were very supportive. I had a rare diamond in the rough set of parents where they weren't exactly free spirited hippies or anything, but they were very patient and they were very cool about me because I had two older. You'll love this. I had two older cousins that were brothers, Zach and Nick Trussell.
Yeah.
Zach goes by Zach Stevens now, and they taught me music because they were into rock and roll. But by the time they were in 5th grade, they had a band, and they were fucking good. Like they were playing Commodore's covers and then playing Kiss covers.
Wow.
So I went to my first Kiss concert at 8 years old.
What tour was that?
Kiss Alive 2 Love Gun Tour.
Whoa.
Biggest. Like, I mean, can you imagine that's your first show and you're 8?
Where'd you see that at?
Omni in Atlanta.
Wow.
I begged them to take me because my cousins loved Kiss. And so they turned me on to Kiss. My buddies, Kelly and Andy, in Cartersville that went to school with me also listened to Kiss records. And so we were all big Kiss heads. Wow. We were the only 3 people in the school that listened to rock and roll, really. And so I begged my parents to take me, and they took me, and it was like on New Year's Eve. And
Did they go in?
My parents?
Yeah.
Oh my God, the whole family went.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. My dad literally like strangled out this dude wearing Gene Simmons makeup because he kept spilling his beer all over his new jacket. I still have that memory like ingrained in my head of turning to the side during like "Come On and Love Me" or something, and seeing my dad with his hands around this Gene Simmons guy's neck behind him, like shaking him back and forth because dude kept spilling his beer on my dad and smoking pot and blowing it in.
Now that's in 77.
77.
When they played San Francisco on that tour, they played the Cow Palace. It was the night Elvis died.
Oh wow!
How brutal is that?
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, man, right?
I remember when that happened. Like, because one of my first memories of rock and roll I didn't get to saying was before Kiss and before everybody was Elvis. I have this tattoo on me, which is a picture of the back of Live Via Satellite album.
Oh yeah,
because that was the first album I ever heard where I remember hearing rock and roll for the first time.
That's fucking great tattoo. Who did it?
My buddy Avril in Raleigh, North Carolina at Blue Flame Tattoo did that tattoo. He's great, and you know, it was just one of those things where I to this day remember that memory that I wanted to get it on my arm. It's fucking great as a memory of the first time I ever heard
I got
rock
Bon
and roll.
Scott.
That's so good. That's so good. So yeah, those records were all synonymous. It was
let's talk
AC/DC.
Let's talk the Kiss concert for real quick.
Let's go.
Now most people that do the show, Cedric Bixler, he coined Kiss as the gateway band.
They were the gateway band.
It's either Kiss or Zeppelin. Well, I saw Kiss too as a kid, and when you see them, can you fucking believe? It's almost like, you ever do cocaine?
It's been a long time. Yeah, when I was young.
Kiss to me. That show is a lot, and also AC/DC and Ted Nugent were all kind of in the first couple of years of seeing bands. It's like the first time you get high. You can't believe how large it is. You're seeing Gene Simmons.
Sensory overload.
And the fire. I remember the fire from 20, 30 rows back. You could feel the heat. I couldn't believe it, right?
Feel my heat. Totally. Yeah, it was amazing.
Man, right, and you
could feel it from the bleachers because I was in the cheap seats.
Yeah, you had to lose your mind though, right?
Yeah,
You're seeing Kiss, and to me, they weren't even real people.
No,
it was like, what the fuck is that?
I thought they were literally space aliens. I thought that they were not real, and they did a great job of letting everybody believe that by like their liner notes in the albums, their personal letters they were showing written.
Yeah, the weird shit
where it was like,
Space Ace.
Oh, the gravity on your planet is I'm slowly getting used to it. And it's you're just thinking like when you're 8, you're like, this guy really is from outer space.
What about those tattoos in Alive 2? Remember those?
Yeah, the rose that Paul had.
And the drumsticks with the snare
for Peter. All of that. Yeah, I had all that. I loved it.
Wow.
Yeah, I ate and breathed that shit, man. The bed sheets I had the transistor radio, the lunchbox.
I had the garbage can.
Oh man, then critics would have had a blast with that.
Yeah, right? I know, right? I remember my buddy turned it upside down to sit on it, and it just went boom. He ruined my Kiss garbage can, which on eBay is like $5.50 now.
Shit, that's true.
Kiss shit is insane.
Still the coolest pinball machine ever made, in my opinion. Just like the coolest looking pinball machine.
We'll get sidetracked for 1 minute onto some pinball because I'm a pinball freak. We're awesome. In here, and you have one of the best. I think Kiss. It's funny because I did a whole episode on the Pinball Hall of Fame in Vegas with the guy that has the museum there, and have you ever been there?
No.
It'll fucking blow your mind.
I'm
it's
sure.
a warehouse of every game ever made.
Wow.
And they're all up and running. You play them all. And there they are. Nugent from the Weekend Warriors.
I love the Nugent one.
Yep. He told me a great thing about the Nugent one. He said Nugent one is actually a shitty playing game because the ramps are set up weird to where you can barely ever hit them. Geometry on it is all off.
It's difficult like him.
Yeah, exactly. Then they had that Rolling Stones one. Remember that early
Yes.
Weird
Yeah.
Stones where you're like, who's that, Ron Wood? Or
70s
is it?
one?
Yep.
Yeah, it was like late 70s, might have been.
And then you had
Tattoo era.
Kiss.
Yep.
But you got the one right behind me right now that blows my mind, the Bionic Man.
$6 Million Man.
It's unbelievable. And speaking of Kiss, the $6 Million Man was another thing that was really so fucking huge to me, man.
Yeah, me too.
And now you got this machine because it was the first one you ever played.
It's the first kind of memory I had of going to I used to go to the handy pantry down at the corner.
Yeah.
And they had a game, they had an arcade, and I would just sit there and play the $6 Million Man pinball machine with all the quarters I could find in our house.
Yeah.
And every day after school. And so whenever I got some fuck you money from making music finally in my life, you know, by the tender age of 30, I went out and found that machine.
Which band bought you that? Weezer?
No, I think that might have been that actually might have been my own. That might have been from when the band The Marvelous Three had kind of a one-hit wonder with a song called Freak of the Week, and I made a pretty big publishing check from it.
Wow.
And, went out and definitely bought a pinball machine to start.
Yeah.
A cool car.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
What was the car?
Car was a 72 Buick Grand Sport convertible.
Oh.
Yeah, candy apple green, white leather interior, and a white convertible top.
Yeah,
Got
man.
stolen out of my driveway.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
In Atlanta?
Yeah, I lived in a pretty dodgy neighborhood at the time, but it was I think it had been being cased out for a while.
Did you just put the pinball machine in your house at the time?
The pinball machine was at my studio in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So I had a full on recording studio there too, for a long time. The pinball machine always lived there. I had that and a Voltron machine next to it.
Oh, wow. I made some money one time, and instead of just saving it, I bought a Tempest, a cocktail machine.
The Pizza Hut version.
Yep, exactly. I always loved the cocktails because you could just chill and play.
Yeah.
And Tempest, remember, it was the shapes.
Loved it with a rotary.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And then I bought Popeye, which was a version of Donkey Kong. That is smoking.
I loved that game.
God,
the Popeye one was killer.
Popeye is so fucking dope, man.
God, I remember that. He'd eat the spinach and he'd beat Brutus's ass.
Yeah. And then you had the sea hags would throw bottles at you.
The Sea Hags.
Sea Hags.
Yes.
You ever get into that band, the Sea Hags?
Oh, I remember the Sea Hags.
Woo, what a band.
Yeah,
San Fran.
kind of an AC/DC vibe, big time.
Yeah.
Which can't go wrong.
So great.
Yeah, the Sea Hags. Wow.
Yeah,
We could go so deep on all things 80s hair metal too. So that's easy.
Oh yeah, so
I started in that.
How did who hit you? Is it MTV that hits you into the 80s stuff?
Yeah. I had I begged my parents to get cable the day that MTV came out so we could actually have it. And then that kind of changed everything for me.
Totally,
was sitting
right?
at home and watching, I can tell you every video that was in rotation, all four of them at the time, you know.
Yeah.
And just
Video killed a radio star.
best. Yeah. The Buggles, Trevor Horn,
Yep.
you know, just all that stuff was larger than life to me. And being able to see all these bands in a visual format when I was in a town deprived of ever seeing live music.
Yeah. Were you
Ever.
a Circus Magazine subscriber?
Circus, Hit Parader, Cream, all of it.
Circus was the best out of the
Circus
three,
was
right?
the best.
Isn't that
Circus,
weird?
Circus always had the best photos and arguably the worst live photos of the Scorpions ever.
Oh, here's the thing.
You could tell that band threw down live because every photo they look so bad in all their live photos because there's so many O faces, you know, being done because they were just going for it, you know.
That's a fucking band right there, right?
Man, I could go deep on them too. Easy.
Oh, well, you know, Scorpions to me, it just blows my fucking mind. You know, you got, of course, you got the early stuff, Uli Roth and all that, but really we're talking Love Drive, Animal Magnetism, and Blackout are some of the best records ever made.
So
Blackout.
good. When Blackout came out, I just remember, well, they the video for No One Like You was on, always on, that was on
Alcatraz.
Blackout. Yeah, and another, and Alcatraz, the band too.
Yeah.
Alcatraz was a hot topic for a while.
Yeah.
In hair metal, but like that was, to me, that was a golden era for me, like getting that awakening of like, oh shit, I want to do this.
Yeah.
This is exciting, because I went from being from listening to all this like stuff MTV was giving me, which was new wave and all that, which I'll take it, man. I'll take it, 'cause I love
Pretenders.
Yeah, but
Missing Persons.
Yeah, I never let go of the Kiss and the Van Halen and the AC/DC and the stuff that the 70s gave us, because I had those records, Cheap Trick, all those things, that very important records to me. But they weren't really getting a lot of video play.
Yeah.
Until the late 80s.
Right.
And that's when and in the
Headbangers
mid 80s
Ball.
you saw, which my band later was on Headbangers Ball every week for a minute there.
No shit.
Yeah.
Now, what was the band?
We were called SouthGang.
SouthGang.
Yeah, we were not even a one-hit wonder, we were a no-hit wonder. It kind of just came and went last minute.
Yeah.
Right before, the tide turned, we were probably one of the last hair metal, like bidding war bands of the Hollywood Sunset Strip scene when I was 18.
So what are we talking, like later on after GNR, like Salty Dog and that spilled off?
Absolutely. Right then and there, like when it was, and arguably it started losing its its luster.
Well, when you have the fifth Poison come out.
That's right. That might have been us, arguably.
Were you guys a glam band that?
We were glammy, yeah. We kind of had we had lots of hair, wore some makeup.
Yeah.
We didn't take it as far as them, but it was more like, I guess it was probably more along the lines of like the way that Bon Jovi and even Aerosmith late 80s were treating it.
That's what I always say. You're either all the way in like Poison, or you were, big hair, kind of loving an elevator.
Right. We loved, our favorite bands at the time in that whole scene were the veterans. Like we loved Aerosmith.
Yeah.
We even we loved 80s. I still love 80s Aerosmith, like late 80s. Ooh. Anything from Done With Mirrors on.
Oh, Done With Mirrors is underrated.
Oh my God.
I can't believe it. I was just playing Done With Mirrors a couple days ago. First of all, Ted Templeman produces it.
Ted Templeman was the monster. He was the Van Halen secret weapon.
And these guys, even the band hates Done With Mirrors, which is weird to me. I saw that tour.
Let the Music Do the Talking was one of the best songs they ever
What
did.
about Sheila? She like a bowling chain.
So good.
My God.
Yeah.
That record is so dark.
It's dark.
My Fist Your Face, is that on that?
Yeah, right before sobriety. That was it.
They said they were sober. It was so funny.
I don't think so.
No, they weren't. I just read recently, they're like, no, we weren't even close yet. You know?
Not even close.
Yeah.
The press release was the only thing sober.
I saw that tour, matter of fact, and it was at Oakland Coliseum, and it was not only mind-boggling, but I remember specifically, I was sitting on the side, and I saw Steven Tyler run over and vomit in a bucket. He vomited in a bucket. It was classic. I saw it.
Amazing.
No one could see it. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, that says a lot.
So that era...
Paved the way for him, though, man. Became one of the best frontmen, after that, like, ever.
I can't believe how great his voice sounds still. I saw him last year.
He's still got it.
And Cheap Trick opened, and Robin Zander crushed it, too.
He still got it.
He's insane.
Yeah.
He's insane.
Yeah.
So now you're in this band in Atlanta, SouthGang.
Yeah.
Do you guys move to Hollywood?
Yeah.
You make the move?
We were playing. This is funny. We were playing the only place we could really ever get a gig, because most of us were underage, and I was the baby in the band, but sort of also kind of like the business guy.
You're the lead guitar player?
I'm the lead guitar player.
And what are you playing back then? Les Paul?
Oh, no. I mean, I did
Charvel?
eventually get back into Les Pauls, but at the time it was like whatever was happening on the LA metal scene. It was
Jacksons.
It was Charvel's, Jacksons, Ibanez, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Kramers, lots of Kramers.
Oh, yeah, the
I had
Beretta.
lots of Kramer Berettas.
Ooh.
And, you could pick them up for like $300 back then, and then just like, go crazy with them and customize them and shit. And so I ended up... we would play this place called Ronnie's Rock Cafe, which was a converted like Pizza Inn or something like that from in Rome, Georgia, which is where we were all from.
Yeah.
Cartersville, and then Rome was right above it. And Rome was a little bit bigger city than Cartersville, so there was more of a pool up there to find people. I took guitar lessons up there, and that's how I found my bandmates. Was everybody there was taking guitar lessons and drum lessons from the same guy, Jerry King. And so we formed a band. We were a heavy metal cover band, played 6 nights a week in this like converted
Making some
pizza
money?
inn. Making good money for a 16-year-old
Wow.
and 17-year-old, and then driving home at 3 a.m. to wake up 2 hours later and go to high school with
I was
eyeliner
playing
running down
gigs
my
in high
face.
school too. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's so
'Cause
weird.
people are like, "Hey, I was just saying this to somebody. They're like, "Hey, did you watch Friends last night?" I go, "No,
Yeah.
no, I was on stage."
Yeah.
I
No,
don't even know what you're talking about.
I would have eyeliner running down my face, and my school was nothing but jocks and rednecks and cheerleaders, and
Yeah.
so the cheerleaders would be like, oh, well, how's your little band doing? Maybe you can play our homecoming dance. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm cool.
Yeah.
I just got through playing, 3 hours and drinking Long Island iced teas
Yeah.
and shots.
Right.
And then drove home. This is awful to say. And then drove home,
Hey,
and
man,
then got
that's
up
what
and went
you
to
did.
high school every day. And, only a few teachers actually even knew I was doing that. And they were, letting me get away with it without without doing something about it. But, we ended up eventually, there was sadly no market for original music in Atlanta, which is where
That's how it was back in
the
I
East
tell
Coast.
people in the 70s, 80s, even
East Coast. Yeah.
I went to the East Coast with Davey Vane.
Vane, yeah.
Yeah, and I went with them when he had Road Crew going after Vane with Adler.
Right.
And we went out to Brooklyn or whatever to go see some bands.
Yep.
We were there a night off before they played the Limelight. And we go in, and this is in the 80s. The bands are playing like 3 sets of covers in New York City.
Yeah.
And they're playing like Cinderella, Nobody's Fool, and all that. And we're like, where's the bands at? Back then it was really just California. It
You
was
had to
like
go to
San
LA.
Fran and LA.
You had to go
play.
to San Francisco, and that was more if you wanted to be like really metal.
Yeah, metal, like Metallica.
Totally.
Exodus.
Which I love, but we were not that. We were more like,
Right.
we were more of a pop version. We were way more like, let's go to where Rat Van Halen and Motley Crue are doing.
So were
this,
you doing
and Guns N' Roses?
Were you doing the 3 sets, and in
Yep.
each set you would do one original?
Squeeze one in.
Yeah.
We'd
Yeah.
squeeze one in that so while the owner of the club was doing cocaine in the back, we'd
Yeah.
squeeze in the originals.
Yeah.
And then we kind of realized we needed to take it west, and so
So you guys were serious.
oh yeah, and so we waited till we were all out of high school. So and literally the day after I graduated, we moved to LA, Hollywood.
Was it a 4-piece?
4-piece.
And you guys had to be pretty getting along pretty good. Like, hey, we're moving to LA. I mean,
We got along pretty good until we all had to move into it with each other.
now I always tell people you have to understand the magnitude of 4 kind of hillbilly Rome, Georgia people moving to Hollywood in the 80s.
Oh my God.
I'm from the Bay Area, and Hollywood in the 80s was fucking gangster, man.
It was crazy.
It was crazy beyond what anybody can think. There was just drugs, hookers,
Yep.
crime, crack was huge. And all of Hollywood was a ghetto. It's so ballsy for you guys to move.
Yeah, no internet, no
I love
money.
people that do that. No internet, nothing.
No way to you couldn't go on Craigslist or
You couldn't Google Earth the neighborhood and go, whoa, look at those crack dealers.
No,
there.
people have no fucking idea how hard it was back then.
Yeah.
And how crazy you kind of had to be and just you just had to just go and
I
do
hear
it.
these guys now complain.
Yeah.
Like these fucking new guys, like, oh man, I can't get anything going. I go, get the fuck out of here. You
Yeah,
got
exactly.
the internet, you got a camera in your hand, you got YouTube, you got fucking
Narcissism.
You can learn anything on the net too.
Yeah.
Like back then you had to be in your room and slow a record down and fucking.
Oh yeah, no, everybody learns how to get through life on YouTube right
Yeah.
now. I'm talking
everything.
Like
I'm looking for good pomade. How do you apply it? Oh, here we go.
yeah, here's how you tie a bow tie.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember that when that started happening, I was just tripping out going, oh really? You just go on YouTube now for everything?
It's crazy. So
But
you
back
load
then,
up a rider truck?
We rolled in. Here's what we had to do is we didn't have a place to live, and we didn't really have a lot of friends out there willing to throw us a bone or help us out either. I had one friend, Kenny Cresswell, who was great, and I still love him like a brother to this day, who was out there with his band, and partly one of the reasons we moved out there because they were this other cover band in Atlanta who were like, we're going to go to LA to make it. We're going to play our own music. And they were like a popular band at the like metal bars in Atlanta that we were kind of sneaking in and playing and shit every once in a while.
Yeah.
And Kenny was the drummer, and he was the only one who would be nice to me because nobody else wanted to be nice to this like 16-year-old whiz kid, like shredder guitar player who was, and I'll go ahead and say it, I was probably better than most of them.
You could
and they were
burn
all
it
like,
up, huh?
I could burn that shit up.
What was your style? Were you like were you Mr. Scary, or were you?
It was very much that. It was
Everybody loved fucking
It was West
George
Coast
Lynch.
shred. I was like, I grew up like going to every like clinics by Yngwie.
Yeah. You got
Paul
scallop
Gilbert.
frets?
I had scallop frets, Steve Vai, all that shit. That was like
The
all
gym.
Like,
You're playing a green gym.
I had like a hot pink Ibanez because of that. But like I remember, no one would be really nice to me in these clubs. The girls would, but the guys wouldn't. They were all jealous because they were all like 25 and 30.
So competitive too back
competitive, and I was just, thank God I was so young and dumb and naive that I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
I had no idea these guys were throwing the haterade at me. Like I had no clue. I just was in there having the time of my life going, I'm in a nightclub and I'm 16.
Yeah.
I'm walking around in a nightclub. There's girls hitting on me that are like 25.
Yeah.
That are like as old as my school teachers back home.
Yeah.
That I'm going to see 3 hours later from now. Everything.
Weed?
Anything.
Is there weed going around Georgia?
Weed, coke, everything. It was crazy. Like we definitely were, and I was more driven to get like hooked on anything like that. I didn't really, it's a big letdown for a lot of people because I don't have a story like The Dirt where I can say like, oh yeah, I went through like my dark heroin phase, but I was just too driven. And,
you got a goal, man. You got a sight.
I was focused on it. And so, but still, like, we partied and I drank like, all of the alcohol.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that like back then when we were doing that, we realized this is great and all, but what's going to happen when we get out of high school? This isn't going to be funny anymore. Like dad and mom going to kick us out of the house, and I didn't want to be living at home anymore anyway.
Yeah.
But like we got to figure this out. So the best move was let's go west. Let's go to LA, and because I had a girlfriend at the time who moved out there ahead of time. And to work at like the Tropicana.
Oh yeah, the mud wrestling joint.
Yeah, she was in the mud
Don Barris
wrestling.
was the announcer there, the comedian.
He was. Yes, he was.
It's so funny.
She would send me flyers in the mail back home.
Vince Neil met his lady there.
Well, yeah. And I think this girl had the same dream of like going out and meeting a rocker bigger than me.
Brett Michaels.
Yeah. And but in all fairness, she was sweet and like would send me flyers of all the bands playing around. That's how we learned like how we needed to look. Oh yeah. How we needed to like present ourselves, and because we didn't know that we weren't exposed to it. There was none of this was being on TV. It was still underground.
Yeah.
There was none
Headbangers
of it.
Ball ain't out yet, so they're not showing.
It's probably just about to happen.
Right.
But like 86, 87, I don't know what's going on. So I'm getting flyers sent to me of all these bands, Taz, Bang Tango, Warrant, all this stuff, Mad Moxie, all these bands with like crazy names.
The Zeros.
Yeah. Sammy Serious.
Yeah.
And,
I had Danny Dangerous on.
Danny
he's
Dangerous.
a good friend of mine. He's the sound guy.
Yeah, they were like the purple-haired replacements. It was hilarious.
It was great.
Yeah, and I love
Shark Island. You ever get into them?
Shark Island, I remember them.
Woo!
That was another Bill Gazzari special.
Yeah.
I'll tell you some good about Bill Gazzari coming up.
Okay, good.
So we ended up moving out there, and we just lived in a hotel. We lived in a cheap motel for like a week on Highland, right, like on the way up to the bowl. So like there was a little.
Oh yeah, there's ones on the right and left
there was one on the right there, and we stayed there for a week until we ran out of money, and we just every day would look around for apartments in the recycler, and we found one on Hollywood and Whitley.
Yeah.
And it was typical. Like Melrose Place on crack, though.
Yeah.
With the pool in the middle.
Yeah.
2 floors, all GIT students.
Wow. How much?
I don't even remember.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I can't even remember.
And 4 guys, 1 bedroom,
6 guys.
6 guys.
We had a couple of like buddies come out with us that were like crew.
Whoa.
You know?
Now, 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom? What'd you guys get?
1-bedroom.
Wow. So you're just sleeping on the floor?
1-bedroom, unair conditioned apartment with 6 dudes in it.
Unbelievable.
And we did that for about a year. We started immediately. This was pre-Kinko's. You'd go get like flyers made at whatever copy store.
Yeah. And where are you playing? FM station? Shit like that?
We played FM station a lot. We played our first gig was at the Whiskey. Rich Bartell hooked us up with a gig at the Whiskey.
Were you doing pay to play?
No Bozos Jam. Yeah, of course we were. We had to.
Oh, No Bozos Jam.
No Bozos Jam.
On Monday, they'd been like 20 bands
I saw
play.
Love Hate there when I moved to town, and I freaked out. I was like, I got to do this. This is incredible. Like,
and the strip at the time is so fucking electric.
Yeah.
That
it was electric. It was like heavy metal Mardi Gras.
You can't ever describe it, you know?
It's like heavy metal Mardi Gras.
Yeah, every night was just thousands of people.
Yes.
And thousands of flyers and everything.
Yes.
It was insane, right?
It was gnarly. And like to go from Cartersville, Georgia to that was just was pretty much heaven.
So you guys play a gig like right away when
right
you're
away we had 5 original songs.
And you do a pay to play?
And that's all we played.
Did you just pay for the tickets and give them away?
We paid for the tickets and no, we sold them all. We went out on the strip and we turned up the accents and the charm and for some reason the girl, you're selling tickets to girls at this point.
Yeah.
That's what you were doing back then.
Yeah.
Because every guy on the Sunset Strip at the time was in a band. Mm-hmm. So there wasn't like guy fans.
No.
It was girls out there talking to guy musicians, and which sounds totally sexist, but it's like that's just the way it was then. There was a couple of girl rock bands which were killing it and great, but they weren't hanging out on the Sunset Strip like getting flyers from bands and stuff. They were working their asses off.
You don't see Phantom Blue out there.
No, Hardly Dangerous.
Yeah.
And
what was the other one, the big one? Vixen?
Vixen.
Yeah,
Vixen. They were great. And so, you just... you'd go out there and you'd just work your magic and hope for the best. And
we're out from Rome.
Oh, we had a couple of guys in the band that just the accents were so thick, and it was just like, come here, sugar. Let me talk to you for a second. And
now, how was your singer? Was he great?
He was great. He had like this, he had the really like high like metal voice, kind of Dio like quality, and looked like Leif Garrett, like was beautiful.
Whoa.
like total, like, big blonde hair, had the looks, and
that's all you need, right?
The chiseled abs. So it was great. We had a nice little, we realized at the time that what we were, and this sounds bad, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but we were almost let down when we started seeing shows around town at how many bands could not play.
Right.
And sing.
Right.
But like you would think, judging by their flyers and posters and ads and their looks and their expensive clothes and their perfect hair and all these things, they had the package down, and then you go see them play and go like, fuck, man, none of these guys are any good. They can't play and sing. And we all sang like 4-part harmony and shit live. Like we were like, it was like Boston. We actually would open with like rock and roll band at our shows. And so we had like the whole thing, we had the shredding, we had the killer drummer, we had everybody singing live, no tracks.
Yeah. Well, that's what a lot of people said why YORN made it immediately.
Because of the tracks?
No. When they came out, they did all sing and moves and everything.
Yeah.
And the guys could play and stuff. They're not like Yngwie and shit.
It didn't matter. They had the whole package.
But they knew it was also like Poison. We got to put together this perfect fucking show.
We went to see them at the Country Club in Reseda, like the second week we were in LA, and our minds got blown. Like we were just like, they had just gotten signed and the record had just come out that week.
Wow.
And it was a big show for like Dirty Rotten, Filthy Stinking Rich, and the backdrop came down and we were just like, holy shit, this is a real show. These guys are going to be big.
Yeah.
They're going to be big, and we've got to be as good as this.
Yeah.
We've got to be as good as this.
Now, back then, I talk about it a lot, but a band was a fucking army. There was no guy. If you had a guy that was like, I'm going to stay home with my girl. No, you went out every night.
Man, we got shit for that.
And you watched bands and you learned and you met people and you fucking hung out, right?
Yeah, and we would each give the other guy shit if they stayed home and didn't do anything. And and we all were guilty of it at times because we all fell in love with different girls at different times and like wanted to like domesticate and stay home. It's like, nope, got to turn it up, got to get out there. I was probably, at the time, I might have been the last guy where I finally just dropped off and was like everybody else was going out flyering. All the single guys were.
Yeah.
But yeah, you had to be an Army. We would go there to Gil Turner and get our fifth of vodka and put it in a brown paper bag and our flyers and just hit the strip and turn up the fucking heat, man. And go out there and we'd sell tickets. And our first show, we broke even. And then second show broke even. Third show, fourth show, started making money. Went from playing the midnight cleanup slot to like the 9 o'clock, the 10 o'clock, then headlining. And then Bill Gazzari, who owned Gazzari's at the time, which was like the godfather of the Sunset Strip, right?
Of course.
He really took a liking to us and said, you know, I want you guys to be my house band. And so,
right?
He would come out and introduce us.
How did he see it? Did he see it at Gazzari's or did he hear about it?
He saw us at Gazzari's because he was there, obviously. He was always there watching the bands. It was his venue, but he would always be there.
Didn't have like the Bikini Mondays or something?
The contest, the bikini contest that all the local band guys had to come and judge. Yeah. That was like a rite of passage, like Godfather moment. Like you had to go judge one of his fucking bikini contest things if you wanted to like get in the door or whatever. And so that's a big deal too, because when he mentored a band and you became a house band, which he did Van Halen and then he did to Shark Island, he would paint your faces up on the fucking club. Yeah.
Remember that? Like the club just had like Van Halen on it, Shark Island, Rat.
Well, our faces were painted up on the side of Gazzari's right next to all those bands.
Yeah. Now you moved from Rome. Now, how long?
Within 10 months.
10 months, you're a house band at Gazzari's.
And he's coming out and introducing every show. We would end our show with a metal version of New York, and he would come out on stage with all of his dancers, all these girls. Yeah. It was a sideshow. Sam Kinnis and all those guys up on stage just grinding people. It's so funny and weird and awesome. Right. And we're just up there on stage just going like, what is this life, you know?
And how many nights a week are you playing there?
Well, no, we would do one show a month.
A month,
because
I got you.
You don't want to wear it out there, right?
Not back then, yeah.
No, but by that point, we had become like, we could play a house show every month.
Yeah.
Make a ton of money, actually.
Really?
Like sell it out in advance far enough. And those were the shows that all the A&R guys started showing up to sign us.
Yeah.
And,
who's coming around? Is it like Kalogner? Is Zutot?
Yeah, and most of those guys passed on us, and that's probably smart because it was already they were probably all looking for the next Guns N' Roses and Aerosmith, and the surprise there wasn't going to be one.
Nope.
And we certainly weren't that. But we had a guy, Danny Goodwin, who was over at Virgin, who ended up like really wanting to sign the band. And I remember having Jimmy Iovine there once and him coming back and talking to us and all this other shit way back in the day. You know, I was like,
like Interscope,
they had just started.
Yeah, brand new.
They had just started. He was like sitting backstage talking about, we just signed this.
They had like Tone
rap
Loc
group, NWA.
NWA. Yeah, they had Tone Loc and they had Four Non Blondes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
by the way, that stuff barely had come out yet when we got signed. So.
What's the other guy? Rico Suave. They had him,
his
right?
His name was Rico, right?
Yeah,
Gerardo.
Yeah.
Who is an A&R guy now?
Yeah, he is.
How
You're
funny
right.
is that?
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So we actually just, we went through the whole thing, and ironically, on the night of our CD release show for our big album that we worked with Desmond Child and Howard Benson on, and made this big record that was going to be the big white hype, Village Recorder, bro.
Of course.
And on that console that I own right now, in my studio right now. And so it was, we ended up doing the record release party, and Bill Gazzari was going to come down and introduce us because we kind of owed a lot to that guy because he stuck his neck out and made us very popular and got a lot of attention drawn our way.
Right.
And we played. He didn't show up, and our manager waited till after we got off stage from our record release party to tell us he didn't show up because on his way he had a heart attack and died.
Unbelievable.
On the night of our record release party, which was sort of the day that music died, I think.
I think so too.
And untimely. I mean, obviously we put our record out the day that I felt like that genre, that era closed the doors.
Wow.
Forever. So, we were a day late and a dollar short, but that's all right.
But you did it.
We did it. We did 2 albums, and we worked hard doing it. We toured hard.
Who produced the records?
Howard Benson did the first one. Keith Olsen did the second one.
Now, did you get any good tours? Did you go out on a tour?
We never really got any good tour breaks, but we got to do a lot of festivals with a lot of the big bands. So, our biggest, shows were all those big, WHF festivals and all those kind of things. And that was fun. But we never really got on any big tours. I mean, it'd be a whole other podcast to talk about when they sent us to China to get us out of their hair.
What?
Because China was looking for a rock band to come over and do a tour of all of Asia.
Whoa.
First American rock band to ever tour China, and that we were.
Yeah?
But we almost didn't come back. And
what happened?
Oh, well, it was crazy, man. We actually...
You guys get caned?
Basically.
Wow.
Well, basically what happened is it was super, communist, so and very restricted.
Yeah.
So we played these big sports arenas where people would pay their month salary to come see a band play, and we were set up on the floors of these sports arenas, and no one was allowed on the floor. So the closest person was like miles away in the stands.
Whoa.
They weren't allowed to stand or yell. They could sit and clap after the songs.
Wow.
MPs with machine guns up and down the aisles, making sure nobody got out of line. It was pretty wild. And then we, every night was a new adventure.
Yeah.
Every night. But one of the things we definitely realized was be careful not to take advantage of the situation. We took advantage of it to full hilt.
Whoa.
And one of the last shows, about a week left of the tour, and they let people on the floor of this venue one night in this town called Jilin, and people were standing when they were supposed to be sitting. Then they were throwing candy and money and stuff at us on stage, like, signs of gratitude or whatever, and going crazy. And the next thing you know, they're running up on stage. 1, 2, 10, 20,
Wow.
30, pulling your hair, like kissing your face, like it was like to them, they,
Beatles.
It was like a Beatles thing, and we were far from it,
Yeah.
But a riot broke out, tear gas everywhere. MPs completely closed the place down.
Whoa.
Threw us in a van, and we were whisked off. We thought it was the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And then they put us on a train and then we're on a train, we're just dumb young rednecks thinking like, oh, that was great, man. I'm just gonna get on a train and go to the next show. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And we wake up the next day at the airport in Beijing with nobody around, no managers, no tour managers, no interpreters, all of them gone with our plane tickets home.
Whoa.
Right there. Our gear is nowhere to be found.
What?
Because the gear was all on a separate truck that was to going where we don't know. So, we were going to definitely end up in lawsuits back home from all the rental tour gear and shit that we were going to come back and not have.
Unbelievable.
All of our prized gear, our old Les Pauls and Strats and Marshalls and stuff. We flew over there. Don't know where they are. Our crew guys, Ragman and Larry, both stayed behind. They actually offered to stay back behind and track down the gear, find it, and fly home. They flew home on top of the road cases in a cargo plane.
Whoa.
20 hours.
Whoa.
Just to get our gear back.
Unbelievable.
Those two guys are two of the biggest paid crew guys in the business now.
Are they?
And they were kids that we found back then. One of them moved from Rome, Georgia with me. He's been Ace Frehley's guitar tech for 20 years.
Unbelievable.
Now, Tom Peterson, Jeff Ament, all the big ones. And then Ragman has been the production manager for Kiss and Motley Crue for 20 years.
Unbelievable.
Isn't that wild?
That's a
whole...
That's a great story. Are you kidding me, man? I haven't had anybody on here that talk about touring China.
Yeah.
Now, you get home... You get dropped. What goes down?
We go back before we can even get dropped. We go back and break the band up.
Yeah.
We already planned it when we were in China.
Really?
Me and Jace, the bass player, we had kind of said,
we
were over this. We weren't on good terms right at that time. I don't think with our singer. We weren't on good terms with the label, especially, and management could fuck off as far as we're concerned for sending us over to do this.
Yeah.
Just to get us out of their hair, basically.
That's so ghetto.
Well, that manager was a piece of shit at the time.
Who was it?
I don't know if I should say, but it was a big management company that had some bigger bands at the time.
Gotcha.
We made the mistake of leaving our smaller manager who got us the record deal.
Bad move, right?
Yeah,
Bad move.
and went with this big company that this guy was a fucking know-it-all.
And then you're just lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, he sucked. And so we basically came back and just broke the band up. our dads took out small loans of like $3,000 each just to get our gear out of customs, because when China shipped our gear back, they shipped it back COD instead of paying for it like they were supposed to.
Unbelievable.
So it was held up in government customs in LA at the airport for a month until we came up with $10,000, which none of us had.
$10,000.
So we came back busted, poor. We also didn't get paid for the tour because they said that we didn't finish the tour, and they sent us home.
Yeah.
Instead of paying us the money, they said we didn't finish the tour, so they didn't pay us.
This is gross.
Yeah, it was awful. So, it was a lot to deal with, but growing pains,
Yeah.
And
that's where you find out who the real lifers are.
That's right.
Right there.
Well, we formed a new band immediately.
Yep.
And went on the road, and from that point forward, we said we would never rely on anybody else but ourselves from that point forward, and that's exactly what we did. We went out and we started playing about 250 shows a year.
How were you doing it as
the next
ex-members of such and such?
No, we didn't even care about that. We actually just didn't even want to be associated with it. And it wasn't because of the music. It wasn't because we were ashamed. We just literally didn't want... It was such a dark ending.
Yeah.
It was a dark exit. And so we didn't want anything to do with it. And plus, it wouldn't have mattered because climate changed so much.
Totally. It was all Soundgarden.
We might as well just start over from scratch and don't say like we're so-and-so from so-and-so band. And we still had a few people come out and see us from the other band, but like we had to pretty much start over. We started over playing clubs to 5 people.
And what style did you guys start playing then?
It was kind of like, if you can imagine at that time, the early 90s like started really, it was the alternative movement. So
of course. Jane's Addiction.
We were really into like all that kind of shit. We were into
Lollapalooza stuff.
Yeah, Black Crowes. Oh yeah. Kravitz, all that early stuff.
Oh, that
at the time.
stuff. Yeah.
And we were really into that.
Oh, I loved it.
And plus the 70s were super hip again because it was the 90s.
Yep.
The 20-year cycle.
Mama Said is a masterpiece.
It's a masterpiece.
Stand By My Woman. I mean, when Lenny Kravitz came out, those first 3 records.
Yeah.
Man, that Mama Said record really, to me, it's Al Green. It's
Al Green, and it's also Zeppelin.
It's Zeppelin. It's Jackson 5.
It's crazy.
It's Zeppelin riffs. Yeah, and to me, I learned so much from Lenny Kravitz. Yeah, Hendrix. I learned falsetto singing.
Totally.
I learned great fucking stand up and do ballads and don't be fucking crazy.
So many tears I cried.
Oh, right? I love that.
Smooth shit, man.
Keep my soul alive.
Yeah, and so we kind of started. That was our trip. Was like maybe that's our model. Is let's do rock and roll, but southern.
Yeah,
like our roots. Let's make this kind of southern rock and kind of like funky and cool. And
Blind Melon was killer.
Yeah, and we were super at that point. We were really, really immersed in all things free.
Fire and Water.
Yeah, Free Bag Company. The Almonds. Van Morrison, even like that shit from like Moondance era.
That killer 70s rock. That
great feel.
It's unbelievable, right? Fire and Water. I remember when I was younger, a guy said, Fire and Water's been made, so there's no use buying any other records, and I was like, what a tall statement. But sometimes I put on Fire and Water, and I can't even believe the simplicity and how incredible it is. Like, I wept, all that stuff,
Beautiful. We used to cover Little Bit of Love. That was one we used to do. I'm going to throw a curveball at you that we really, really loved from the 70s that nobody else really heard or knew, but to us, we worshipped it because they were out of Atlanta, and Tom Werman produced it. Mother's Finest.
Oh, I know Mother's Finest. So absolutely.
And we in our band at the time was me singing and a girl.
Oh wow.
Singing Christina, and so me and Christina were splitting the vocals. So we were doing like a total modeled after Mother's Finest thing.
Right.
They were like a metal southern rock band.
Yeah.
But funky, and they were all black.
There was bands back then that were really like funky and soulful, like Screaming Cheetah Wheelies.
Oh yeah.
Remember
totally.
these bands?
Yeah.
You would hear them and they had so much soul in them.
Yeah.
There was a band that I fucking worship, and I had the guitar player on here. They were signed to Columbia, Sweet Vine. They're from Sacramento, and this guy was Otis Redding.
Yeah.
And they were 3 white guys, or 4-piece band, but the singer was insane.
Wow.
Insane. So there was a lot of soul rock, and I think Lenny Kravitz had a lot to do with that, and Black Crowes
I agree.
was sometimes Salvation.
We loved all that stuff.
All that shit. And of course, Amorica, Wiser Time.
Well, we left it when we left Atlanta to move to LA back in the hair metal band. There was no original music scene, and then a year later, the Black Crowes exploded out of Atlanta,
Isn't that
and we were
crazy?
just like, "Fuck!"
Yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, they deserved it too because they were doing something no one else at the time had done since the '70s.
It was them
cool.
and London Choir Boys.
Oh yeah, the London Choir Boys.
And I talked to Steve
They
Gorman.
sounded like the Faces,
Right, exactly.
hair metal Faces.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
talked to Steve Gorman and I said, at the time, it was you two bands that were out there. And he goes, yeah, but we had the songs, which is so fucking true.
It's very true.
And it just shows you at the end of the day, that Black Crowes first record is so deep with tracks.
Oh, man.
With back then, most of the records you'd buy, it'd be 3 songs and the rest was garbage.
You can say that it's a testament to the songwriting when they followed up a giant first single, which was a cover.
Yeah.
Because nobody
Hard
survives
to
that.
handle. No one.
No one survives putting out a cover for their first single and then following it up with one of their own songs that's better.
Yeah, Jealous Again.
Jealous
Unbelieve
Again,
it.
and Twice as Hard.
Twice hard. Then they do the ballad.
Yeah. Talks to Angels.
Oh, Talks to Angels. Then you're just fucking pouring money.
Yeah.
Pouring money. You know what I mean?
Making custom bell-bottom jeans for days.
Yeah,
I love those records,
I
man.
swear to God, I love that soul rock.
Same.
It's so good. There's some bands out there doing it now, and Rival Sons has some flavor of that.
Yep.
And when you hear St. Paul and the Broken Bones,
St. Paul and the Broken Bones.
can't fucking believe this band.
Yep.
The singer makes my head spin.
He's got a killer voice.
He has an insane voice, you know?
I'm trying to remember who he sounds like to me. It's very, who is that guy that he sounds a lot like? I can't remember. Never mind.
He sounds a lot like fucking Wilson Pickett.
It's Wilson Pickett.
It's definitely,
That's exactly what it is.
It's that Mustang Sally.
Yeah, I was gonna go Cocker, but it was a black guy, and I couldn't remember
he's
who it was. It was
listening
Wilson.
to, yeah.
It was Wilson Pickett, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
So you guys start doing that, and how are you surviving in Hollywood? Did you have to get a job?
Well, no. After that, we moved back to Atlanta.
Oh, no shit. You
Yeah,
tapped out.
Yeah, tapped out. We moved back to Atlanta. We lived there. We actually lived in Atlanta the last year of the hair metal band, of the SouthGang band.
Oh, got you.
And then we just kind of stayed there, but that was more of a home base because we stayed on the road for, like I said, over 200 days a year for the next like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, I used to do that too. It was amazing how you could just play gigs.
Yeah.
And then you'd sell CDs or tapes after the show, and you'd make this great living.
That's what we did. We actually driving to the next gig in the van. We had a little assembly line of people folding J cards that we would make at Kinko's. Someone would be cutting them.
Yeah.
The other one would be folding them and then putting sticker labels on the cassettes or CDs, depending on which era it was. And we would sell those at the shows to afford hotels at the next town.
Wow.
And that's how we did it, and gas money.
Yep.
Because, we were lucky to make $100 for a show a lot of times.
Yep. But man, how happy are you? I remember my band, we each got $5 a day to eat on. And we would go to Taco Bell. They had the dollar menu.
The dollar menu.
And we'd eat like kings.
Yeah.
I'd get 2 7-layers and a Diet Coke.
Totally.
And I was good. And then we'd eat at the club, whatever we can.
The venue would
burgers
sometimes
or whatever.
give you food. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah, that was the way of life right there. If a venue didn't provide food for you, you'd be like, oh God, what am I going to do?
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
So
pretty fun.
How do you start getting into, because I'm here at your studio and you have some amazing fucking toys. Your taste is impeccable. You got great motorcycles. You got a great watch on. You love everything I love. Great cars.
Nice.
Everything. I love everything. How do you... one of my things is not how do you afford this, because of course you start producing stuff, but a guy from Rome, how do you become a guy with taste? Who is it? Are you looking at magazines and stuff? Is it Steve McQueen?
That's an interesting question, and definitely some. There's definitely there's some dudes out there, that have definitely been influential over the years, and I think it's just a matter of
Because there's a certain guy. You and
Yeah.
I are a certain guy.
Totally. And
Immediately, I look at your watch. You got a Tudor on, gilt dial. Like, oh, this guy's got the great watch. Killer ring. You got a fucking FXR Harley.
yeah.
You know.
I gotta say, I'm just, I like good things,
Yeah,
and I think whenever I was growing up, there was a bucket list of shit I was never thinking in a million years I'd ever be able to afford to buy. And so when I started being able to make a living and paying my bills and providing for my family and my son, anything on top of that was going right back into my ego.
Slush fund.
Yeah.
Just toy fund.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I give to charities. I've got to, it's not just all vapid, but at
Yeah.
the same time, this is, as I say, it's par for the course. I'm in my 40s. I'm going to enjoy some of this shit while I'm around.
Now, how are you making money in the music climate? Only from producing?
Well,
Because, I mean,
I do pretty good. I do pretty good with that gig. I call that my day job, and it's a good day job. I get to make records for a lot of people. I get to produce, and I also co-write a lot of the stuff. And every once in a while, those songs become big songs. And
what are some of the big songs?
or at least do well enough to, like, you've heard it in a commercial or something like that. But like just getting to work on anything from random stuff from Fall Out Boy to Pink. There's
Katy Perry.
Yeah, it's all over the map.
Avril Lavigne.
Panic at the Disco, WEEZER. Like there's been like enough like things that, because I don't do a lot of records. That's the thing. I don't like a full-time producer is going to do like, one after another all year long. They're going to just spend 300 days a year making nothing but records. And I don't do that because life's short and I want to be able to pick and choose my battles and work with people I like, no matter what the genre, because there's good and bad in every genre, and I want to be able to work with the stuff that at least is inspiring and fun. And then I also like to put out my records and tour.
Yeah.
And as long as people are coming to see me, then why stop doing that? How did you get make a decent living doing that too, as long as I don't take out a giant crew and all that. But
are you going van and
no?
and
I can afford to take a bus.
Wow, that's fucking great.
One thing I promised I'd never do in my lifetime was support my artist career with my producer career.
Gotcha.
So I've never dipped into my own money.
Yeah.
To float that, I've always made sure it self-sustain itself. So, and if that means I need to go out on a tour and take no band and do it by myself just because I need to make some more money that year because everybody gets in tight spots no matter what, then I'll do that. Or sometimes I'll take a band out and I'll just make it a shorter tour and it'll still make money and I do pretty good with merch and, it's just, I don't know. I just always want it to take care of itself. My pride won't let me have it any other way.
How do you start this producer career? Because I'm wondering how, because you work with huge names. I mean, first of all, you worked on a WEEZER record, and you worked with Pink. And you worked with Katy Perry, Fall Out Boy. What is the first one that really gets to your name out there, where people are like, hey, you ought to have Butch Walker come in and work on this?
Well, funny enough, one of the bands that was a neighboring Atlanta band that grew up in the 80s club scene as well as I did, playing like hair metal and stuff, went on to become a popular hard rock metal band out of Atlanta called Seven Dust.
Oh yeah, I know them. And
we always just stayed in touch, and we're like, man, it's so good you're doing well, it's so good you're doing well. Blah, blah, blah. We should make a record.
Remember they had the infomercial? They were genius.
Oh yeah, that's right.
At night you would just
TVT
come home
records.
all burned and be like, Seven Dust.
That's some TVT record shit right there. I finally made a record for those guys, and
they asked you to produce it.
Yeah, and it was a great record for it. If that genre is what you like, then I think that record's up there with some of the best ones, and arguably, I mean, I'll go ahead and say it. I think it's one of their best records too. As far as that goes, I was working with this band that I was kind of actually helping out before they got signed in Atlanta. They were still a local band called Injected.
Oh yeah,
and Injected was like one of my first records I ever got to do as a producer, because the singer Danny really believed in me and was like, they could have gotten any other producer probably because they got signed to Island and had a budget, and he wanted me to do it, and I'm really proud of that record. I think that record's phenomenal, and it's I really worked hard on it. We all really worked hard on it,
Right.
And we just lost Jade, the guitar player, about a month ago.
Wow.
And he was a troubled kid, but a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful person.
Right.
And so we're all kind of tore up about that. But you know, I'll never forget that. I mean, it's a record that unfortunately the press kind of sweeps under the rug when they ask me about when they print what records I've worked on. They don't ever say that record, but that's a big one for me.
Yeah.
And then one thing led to another, and there was like a song I co-wrote that around the same time as my band, the Marvelous Three, had a song called Freak of the Week on the radio, and then that took off, and then Avril Lavigne had called, of all people, wanting me to work on some songs for her, and I co-wrote and produced one number one and one top 10 back off of that second record.
Wow, what songs?
It was called the first one was called Don't Tell Me.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
Oh, yeah.
And then the second one was called, the one that was number one was called So Much for My Happy Ending.
I love how you can forget a number one song.
Isn't that weird? Well, I don't know.
That's how much you work.
Well, and also you just go, okay, that's great, let's move on.
Yeah.
I don't want to dwell on that and be like, maybe you've heard of me, I'm that guy who wrote blah, 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 like that.
Yeah.
But honestly, that was a weird thing too, because I grew up making like rock and metal records.
Right.
Never in a million years would I have said I'm going to touch a pop record.
Yep.
Or, work with like a 17-year-old pop princess, and it was like, maybe I should just try it and see what happens. And
who hits you up for that? Like a song, BMI?
No, she did, because there was a band called Simple Plan. Pop punk band from Canada. I did a song for them for a movie soundtrack at that time. Right when I was starting to just do a couple of things.
Yeah.
Nothing huge yet, but like a couple of things. And those guys were fans of my band, the Marvelous Three, and wanted me to like produce a song, and I did. And they went on tour with her. They're both Canadian.
Oh, wow.
They talked me up a lot to her, and then she says, oh, I should work with him. It was just all kind of like, the beauty of it is everything I've ever done, a lot of it, at least in the early years, was based on work I'd done for my own records.
Word of mouth. That's great.
And I never called anybody for the work. I never did. I never set out to go, I'm going to pimp my shit out as a producer now.
Yeah.
I never did that. I was actually just, I would have told you were crazy if that was going to be my future, like career.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. It just ended up really kind of blossoming from there. But I never really, I just never really wanted to be settled into one genre, I guess.
Yeah, that's good. That's fucking smart. I mean, what are you going to do? Just be anybody that ever settled into one genre is pigeonholed and pushed into a box, and then when that genre, people always hit me up. Hey, you say genre?
Genre is right.
It's genre. But when you're in that and that music isn't happening, then you're cast away like a piece of garbage. It's unbelievable. Let's talk WEEZER.
Okay.
Great fucking band.
Love them.
Great band, River. The record you did is a strange record, the one you worked on. What a strange record, right?
Well, strange, and like, and Rivers will tell you this, that it was a really interesting time for the band, a dark time for the band, because Josh Freese was playing drums because Pat didn't want to play drums anymore. He wanted to play guitar.
Yeah, that's so weird,
and
right?
Rivers, the best, like, unsung metal guitar player that no one knows about.
Oh, yeah, he's total Eddie Van Halen.
Didn't want to play guitar anymore. He wanted to be a frontman.
Yeah.
So he was taking frontman lessons.
Frontman lessons.
And
where do you take frontman lessons at?
Somewhere in Hollywood, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, right?
Take a dime a dozen.
I love that. Have you ever wanted to be a frontman?
Totally.
Come see me. I've taught Diamond Dave.
Right. He was very excited about it at the time, too. And I just remember thinking, and the band wasn't talking. So Rivers wasn't talking to the band. They weren't talking to him. They weren't there at the same time hardly ever. And the studio was very tense. It was very tough. And I wouldn't indulge that. I wouldn't talk about that, except for the fact that the whole next record talked about it.
Okay, yeah, of course.
And so they've all talked about that.
Yeah.
Since. But at the time, it was pretty tough. And it was also, he was hell-bent on being a pop star.
Wow.
Like he wanted to make pop songs and be a pop star up there, like, you know, looking at pie charts of what was on the radio. Well, Rihanna is doing really well. So
is he looking at it like that, or is he looking at like Jonas Brothers?
he's looking at it like that. He's like, he really believes that he can be this. And
Wow.
God love him, because, you know, Rivers has always embraced the weird and been awesome.
Oh,
and
yeah.
always,
I mean, they got a huge record. He goes back to college or whatever. Then he
like,
lives in an apartment in Hollywood.
Yeah, he's like our generation's Brian Wilson.
Totally.
You know?
Totally.
And super
eccentric,
gifted, reclusive, all these things that kind of add up. But when you're trying to make a record and trying to see it to the finish line, and there's all these obstacles, and, you know, I came in and I was like, man, and I said this in an interview once, I was like, you know, it was confusing and tough for me because I wanted to make My Name is Jonas. I didn't want to make My Name is Nick Jonas.
Yeah, right.
You know, I wanted to make the Blue album.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't ready to make
Yeah, you want In the Garage.
right, but you know, I think that he thought that I could help him make a pop record, and it's the last,
because you were working with Avril,
right?
and
But
Pink
it's the
and stuff.
last
I
thing
gotcha.
on earth I wanted to do.
Oh, yeah.
To Weezer,
Yeah.
or with Weezer. So I mean, I think a lot of fans will probably look at that record as like a what the fuck moment, and that's cool. I did like 3 or 4 songs on it. I didn't, you know, it was like a bunch of people, but we still had a big top 5 song that I co-wrote and produced on the record. That was If You're Wondering If I Want You To, I Want You To.
First song on the record.
And
also.
I gotta say, it's at least it's a Weezer song.
It is.
It's not. It doesn't sound like the Jonas Brothers, really.
No. I wonder what the label was thinking at the time.
Oh my God, there was a lot of head slapping.
Yeah, like just like what the fuck? What is? Can you imagine? Like always, like what is he gonna do now? You know.
It was the weirdest time.
You talk to him still at all?
Yeah, every once in a while. He's great. I mean, I love those guys, and I'm just, I think they're an institution, and honestly, they were such a big influence on me too. Like, because when we were in the mid '90s touring and doing a lot of this like kind of like bluesy southern rock stuff, and then all of a sudden, bam, here comes a band that's the Pixies and Cheap Trick all put into one, and the Beach Boys and all this. I couldn't, them and Green Day.
Yep.
At the same time,
Incredible.
It's like, holy shit, man. So you mean melodic music is back?
Yeah.
Like I can actually, and with guitars.
Harmonies, 3 guys singing.
Oh my God.
You know, I love that. In the garage where I be. Like you hear, you go,
it's so
whoa, what a tune.
It's all good music. And that I can still remember everywhere I was driving the van in the 90s when a record that changed everything for me came on. And I was driving to Chino, California to play a show and was cranking the Blue record, just going, this is this is going to be big, and this is going to help a lot of things change in a big way. And it kind of started shaping that my band, The Marvelous Three, was a total nod to Weezer, a total nod. Like, gave us the carte blanche to do that.
They've never changed what they're going to fucking, because it's like Blue record, then Pinkerton, then Green record. You're like, what is going, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Which kind of winds down to your career. What you said at the top of the podcast is I've never made the same record or the same style and stuff, and people are mad. And
not everybody, just certain people.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Which I respect, because when your heroes do that, you know, one of my heroes being Neil Young, that guy, you know,
if he knew you got comfortable with him, he's going to change it.
He's like, see you later. I mean, those 3 records, you know, On the Beach and Zuma and fucking Tonight's the Night, you know, the Ditch era, you know, are him saying fuck you to Harvest people, you know, and to me they're masterpiece fucking
Bowie,
records.
Prince,
and Prince, same thing, changing names, changing styles.
He was a giant influence on mine. It doesn't show in the music per se, but his whole model on being a producer, a writer, write songs for other people,
work ethic,
play all the instruments, engineer it your fucking self, like do the whole, like you can do it all, you know. And if you can still do a split off of a grand piano in white pants and white heels, great.
Unbelievable.
I can't. But like at least all the other shit I was like on board with and writing mega songs.
Maybe this tour you can get a frontman lessons and get those splits going.
I think I'll just play behind a curtain and get a younger version of me out there.
He's out there just sexy motherfucker. Let's wind it down here. I listened, the new record's coming out August 26th, and I listened to Stay Gold. Great, of course, Outsiders, one of my favorite fucking movies.
Yes.
I mean, when I was young, I wanted to be, Dallas Winston.
Totally.
I think Matt Dillon is an absolute god, even to this day.
Yep.
He's done some of the best movies ever. Drugstore Cowboy.
Rumblefish.
Over the Edge.
Over the Edge, man.
Fucking incredible.
What a nightmare of a kid.
And then the one about L.A., Crash.
Crash was great.
Insane. I love the whole Coppola inspiration, all that of Stay Gold. I can't wait to hear the record, but I listened to the single, East Coast Girl, and it talks a lot about Venice, and I talk a lot about gentrification and rents in LA in my set, my comedy set right now, of how fucking it's crazy what's happening here in Albert Kinney.
Yeah.
You got to think about the old days of Jane's Addiction, walking those streets, scoring heroin, writing tunes, and people skateboarding in the dog town.
Well, in '88, we moved out here and we stayed at the beach for a few days when we got here, because in the van. And we didn't even really. We just would come out here because we didn't really know where to go, and we just needed to see it all.
Yeah.
But it was sketchy.
Oh, one of my favorite people on earth, a band called Flame, moved here and lived there, and they got all their gear stolen. They were too lazy one night to take it out of the truck, and everything was gone in the morning. And I remember staying with them going, these guys are fucking doing it. They live down here. This is crazy. Venice Beach. And you had every other street was crack wars, and it was like that movie Colors.
Yeah.
Now when you look at Venice, and it's funny because you got a line in there. You talk about the businesses closing and stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty insane what goes down in these neighborhoods. I was in Venice last week for a couple of days, and I was like at Stronghold, that store and stuff like that, and you're just looking at these boutiques, and you're going, the machine you have to constantly make more and more money in this town to live. Isn't it crazy?
It is gnarly.
Do you have any fantasies ever of going like, you know what, I'm going to try out Detroit. I'm just going to buy a fucking 5-story department store.
I've thought about it many times.
Right.
How great that would be to just go get a big old 4-square, 5,000 square foot house and hold on to it for a while. But, I'm where I have to be.
Because of work.
For work, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, which happens to be a fucking expensive place.
It's crazy, right?
But that's par for the course, man. You got to be where
you got to fucking mine for gold in the stream.
Yeah, and
you can't mine for fucking gold out on a fucking sidewalk.
And luckily, I get to split my time between here and Nashville and live there too.
Oh, you living out there too?
Yeah, and I really love it because it's 3 hours from where I grew up, and I can see my mom and my sisters. My dad died a few years ago, and it was, that's been hard to overcome, and so it helps to go back there and it's
ground yourself.
Yeah, and it's great. I got a studio there, so I get to make records there all the time too.
Nashville's incredible now. It's the new hotspot. Look, like Alison Mosshard from the Kills.
Yeah, she's a buddy.
Jack White and everybody out there, and it's a music town.
Yeah, it's a real music town. Like, LA is awesome and will always be awesome. It's the city of industry.
Yep.
So a music industry will always survive here.
Yeah.
But when a town was built on nothing but music, like Nashville, it's a different air.
It's never going away.
It's a different air, and it's great. And I'm also Southern, and I miss it. So it's nice to go back and get a little piece of that, like half of the year, and just be not concerned about.
How do you decide when to go there?
I kind of keep it random now. If I work with somebody that's not even from LA, which is common now.
Yeah.
It's always common I give them the choice. I'm like, you want to make your record in Nashville, or you want to make it in LA? Oh,
that's fucking cool.
Yeah. And some places some of the towns I go, this is a record for Nashville.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or this is a record for my studio in LA. And so I'm very fortunate to be in that position now. I've worked hard to get to that point where I can actually choose between 2 studios. But I'm glad that I have that ability to go, oh, this record is totally my studio in Nashville. Let's go make it there. Plus, I think the person, whoever I'm working with or whatever, I think you can kind of get a gauge of where they're going to be most comfortable.
Yeah, get them out of here.
Because not everybody, I mean, people that live in LA are diehard. They don't want to leave LA.
Yeah, they're like, oh man, my restaurants are here, my bed and everything.
I got the Lakers, bro. You know, like, and it's like, yeah. So, and that's fine if that's what they do.
Yeah.
I don't go out ever, so it's like I don't know what they are doing, but I know a lot of those people do not want to leave this city, and that's fine. But like when I go work in Nashville, I can work with New York, Chicago, people from the UK, wherever, and they all kind of want to get a taste of the South.
Well, fuck, man, thanks for doing the podcast.
Loved it.
And you got a great place here, and I can't wait for the record. The chorus had a cool 70s Springsteen vibe almost to me.
Yeah, we love Springsteen.
Oh, God.
Around here.
Man, I could talk about him for 5 episodes. August 26th, it comes out. And you can listen to there's a track right now on iTunes. And check out all his other music. And he's got tons of shit he's worked on. And no doubt you've heard a lot of his work. Thanks a lot, man. You got an Instagram, right?
Yeah, Instagram is just Butch Walker.
And then Twitter or anything?
Butch Walker.
All right, so here's the deal. I ended the interview with Butch Walker, and then we started to go riding up the coast, and we pulled off to get something to drink and started talking, and I realized I completely forgot to ask him about the fire that happened in his home. I whip out the mics, and we fire it up again on the side of the road out in Malibu. So here is part 2. Check it out. Okay, so here we are, part 2. We did the interview at your studio. Then now we're out riding in Malibu. The weather today is insane.
It's perfect.
And we stopped for a drink, and you started talking, and I realized, holy shit, I didn't even talk to you about the fire, which was a huge deal. What year did this happen?
This happened in 2007, so it was almost 10 years ago. It was at, I guess, Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
Insane.
So it was Thanksgiving weekend, and there was a show. I was doing just an acoustic show.
In New York?
In New York, and I had my family with me, and my kid was only 6 months old at the time, so I still had him in like a stroller thing. And I just remember getting phone calls at like 5 a.m. from all my friends back home saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" I'm like, "What are you talking about? It's 8 o'clock in the morning my time. It's 5 o'clock your time. Why are you up?" And it was people saying that the news was saying that there was the hillside that where I lived was on fire.
Yeah, now Malibu is infamous for these fires. Like over the summer, they get crazy fires out here.
Yeah, the Santa Ana winds kick up in 80-mile-an-hour winds, and it's just like it'll throw an ember 80 miles an hour into a house, and if the house is obviously flammable, then you're in for some trouble. So, a month before that, there had been some fires that had happened and had come kind of close to the house, but didn't do anything. And I guess that kind of gives you false confidence that it's fine. This happens all the time out here, obviously. And I was kind of new to the area because I moved out here because I was just, Tom Petty and Bob Dylan, all my favorite, Neil Young, a lot of my favorites all lived out here, and it was peaceful, and I wanted to just be in a place that was tranquil and didn't have a lot of nightlife going on, and I could just chill out and kind of almost be a country bumpkin again like I grew up.
And you were renting it from Flea.
I was renting it from Flea.
So the place had a built-in recording studio.
Had a full-on recording studio.
Which made it appealing to you, so you can live out there and work out there and just be like that 70s Neil Young.
Totally. And funny enough, it was like I was actually in the process of buying the house.
Wow.
Whenever this happened. And It was like an escrow period there,
and it was on a cul-de-sac dead end, right?
up in the canyon, yeah. And
so no escape.
No escape.
Is that kind of spooky? Because even if you were there, like sleeping, can you imagine? Like, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I never experienced the Santa Ana winds before.
Yeah.
And I happened to be out of town when it happened. And so my friend was watching the dogs at the house while like I said, we were in New York. And when I got the call that morning that some buddies of mine that lived across the way were saying my entire hillside was on fire, where there was a lot of houses around there, and to get the hell out of there, I was like, I'd still kind of had this weird false confidence that there was nothing going to happen. So I said, okay, it's cool. So I called my buddy that was watching the dogs and said, hey, just in case something happens, you should probably get out of there and maybe go get the dogs and take them. You can take my truck, because he had a little car and he had his dogs there. There was 4 dogs there that would have never fit in his car.
Right.
And I said, hey, if you could too, go into the studio and just grab this hard drive sitting on top of my computer. Had everything I'd been working on that past 6 months, which was a lot of big records and
other people's
stuff.
Now, if that
a lot of unfinished stuff. And
if that burns down, was that all you had of it? Back?
I had a vault down below. I had all my masters there from everything I'd done, every master recording from the time I was 16 years old.
A vault below the studio?
Yeah.
Was that fireproof?
Apparently not.
Whoa,
so,
no.
So, I had every master recording there on 2-inch, half-inch tape, reel-to-reel, 100 hard drives of every record, every master I'd ever done. And, just, it was crazy. I mean,
you're living Tom Petty's life at the time,
Well,
remember his place burned, right?
That's right. That's right. It did. His was arson, I believe. But
oh, fuck.
But this one was the wildfires that came, and I just remember talking to my friend and saying, maybe get that hard drive if you could, if you have time, grab it. I didn't even have a moment to say grab, countless vintage guitars that are worth a lot of money, and war memorials and medals and stuff of your family members, and just stuff like that. It was everything that we owned under one roof, and so when he left with the dogs, my buddy Ryan, who went over to the house, because he called me and I said, hey man, yeah, I understand your concern, and I wanted to see if you wouldn't mind going over to the house and grabbing as much valuable stuff as you can find. There's war memorials and burial flags and lots of family heirlooms, and I've got 45 vintage guitars hanging on the walls there, and I've got vintage microphones and drum kits and everything, and I was just all my master tapes and stuff like that. So he calls me back about 20 minutes later, and he's kind of in a panic, and he's out of breath, and he's coughing and choking, and he said, man, I tried to get past the cops. They wouldn't let me by, so I just railroaded over the barricade and went up there, and I tried to get up there as fast as I could, and I got up there, and there was smoke, and I couldn't see much, but, and I'm, at this point, I'm just kind of thinking, well, this sounds bad. I was like, what happened? And he just said, and I just remember it plain as day. I was sitting in a coffee shop with my son in a stroller at 6 months old in Union Square in New York City, and just waiting on somebody to give me some good or bad news. And he just said, man, your house is gone. He said, there's no house left. It's gone, completely gone. The studio, everything. I can't see anything left.
Wow.
There's
Just
a
chimney and ground.
And I was like, I just remember sitting there getting crazy emotional in this coffee shop with my son sitting there asleep.
That's got to be insane, because you're 3,000 miles away.
Yeah.
And everything you own, because you said that you had just trucked everything out from Atlanta.
Yeah, semi-truck full.
So everything you owned is gone now.
Everything.
And so do you just fly home immediately, or why fly home?
It was Thanksgiving weekend in New York, and we couldn't get a flight out.
Oh.
We had to wait till the next Monday. We had to stay the whole weekend knowing that happened because no one could get us a flight back.
Unbelievable.
And so we went back on Monday and just drove straight to the house. And
it was just gone.
It's gone. And just, it was a pretty weird thing for that to happen because you realize all of a sudden how light you are.
Yeah.
And I mean this in a good and a bad way, that like you have 2 suitcases to your name.
Yeah, right? Yeah, your New York trip stuff.
One guitar. I played an acoustic show in New York, so I just took an acoustic guitar. And so it was just all these things that were making it very, the realism of that coming into play. And you're just sitting there thinking that, wow, this is what it's like. Because I had forgotten what that was like.
To own nothing. Like back to when you first moved to L.A., with some dudes, you had your guitar.
Which immediately shifted my train of thought and my disposition from feeling sorry for myself and being miserable and sad and crying for a week straight about all these beautiful heirlooms and family things gone and all the master recordings I'll never have back, to being really calm, at peace, and thankful, for lack of a better word, for having nothing again. And it felt good.
I talk about it a lot on this podcast about the fantasy. I recently moved, and I was thinking, like, how great would it be to have nothing except a motorcycle, my records and turntables, and my like leather jackets, you know what I mean? Nothing else.
Yeah.
Because we do go through life. You are exact to me as I look at your studio today and hang out with you. We constantly buy stuff that we've always wanted and we love them and stuff. But I don't know. I try to get back to that. Like, okay, a watch, a jacket, these boots. It's like the end of the jerk.
Well, it's like what we were talking. Yeah, all I need. This is all I need.
That's it.
Well, and it's like that's what I did. Like when we were talking earlier about like all those things. Like you go, oh, you like good things, and I do. But now I appreciate them even more. Instead of having like 7 of something just to say fuck you because I can.
Yeah.
I'll have one good thing that I really like. One good jacket I really like. One good watch I really like.
Yeah.
One, I can't say the same about guitars and motorcycles. I have several.
Yeah.
But it's a whole other addiction for a whole other podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's kind of like one of those things that you really find out what matters. You find out what's important. And what is important is the fact that lots of people go through the same thing, but they don't have any way to recover from it. Some of them don't have any friends to come to their need.
Oh, some live in third world countries.
That's exactly right.
And have nothing.
So I immediately didn't feel bad or feel sorry for myself at all. I just thought to myself, this needed to happen. Because you get to that point where you get desensitized by having some success, having some money, and having the ability to take care of buying whatever you want and doing whatever you want in life, and then you don't get a chance to really sit back and realize how lucky you are for it, and how special that is, and how and at the same time how unimportant all that shit is. So.
That's true, right? Because you still have your wife and your kid and your health.
And my friends, more importantly, like the friends were all just like, people were just like so supportive and helpful. And people, like I had producers, I had like Brendan O'Brien and Jack Joseph Puig and all these like big producer guys that I can't hold a candle to, that would call me up and just say like it touched a nerve that I lost my studio and all of that stuff. And they're like, I have a warehouse full of gear. Just come get whatever you need. Take whatever you need. If you need a place to record, I want you to come work here free of charge. Just like come do it. It was just nice to like see people
reach out, man.
Yeah, it makes me feel a little emotional talking about it, because it's so important at the end of the day. Like I know a lot of people, sadly, several people in this industry that are really shitty people and have a lot of money and a lot of success.
Yeah.
And I just know
if they lost everything,
no one's going to reach out to them. And I've seen it happen to a couple of them lately where they're under fire for some shit, and like no one is defending them, no one is coming to their rescue because there's no real friends there when you're an awful person. And it just made me realize, well, I guess at the end of the day, you just got to try to be a great person.
Yeah, you're so true. You're so right there, man. It's I have a lot of people. They always say stuff to me like, "Wow, man, you're really cool. You talk to people on Twitter or at the clubs, and you take the time." And it's like, you know, I've met thousands of people. You know,
sure,
I can tell you the dicks.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I don't remember all the great people. You know, but I remember the 4 or 5 dicks in my life, and you're like, that guy. You know what I mean?
That's right, yeah.
And you remember it forever.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You do.
It's so weird, man. What happened after the fire? What happens on that? Is Flea insured? Were you insured?
So, you know, we kind of both lost on that deal because we were in the process of trying to buy the house.
Yeah.
And, had not closed on it or anything, so it was still Flea's house. I was just renting it until buying it.
Right.
And so he lost the house, and I lost everything in the house.
Yeah.
So it was like, you lost your house, I lost all my shit. So I don't think anybody really won. He got insurance for it.
Right.
Like he had probably some sort of like fire insurance, although out here that's still kind of like limited on what you can. And with me, unfortunately,
no renter's insurance.
Renter's insurance only covered up to about, I don't even want to say the amount, but it was about maybe 2%.
Oh my God!
Of the stuff that I owned.
Yeah. Why is that?
Because we weren't homeowners in this place yet, so I couldn't do homeowners, and there was a cap on the renter's insurance. I guess I did not know about that.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff, sadly, I was not on top of insuring. Now I insure everything.
Yeah.
But at the time there was no insurance on.
I get it, dude.
And I had gear insurance, but literally that year I had bought so much stuff, and that because I'd finally had the money to finally outfit my studio with everything, that I'd say maybe half of it was covered, and the other half I just had to wipe clean.
That's brutal, dude.
Yeah. That's a lot.
Where do you go after that? Did you live in a hotel or a rental house?
Totally. Went with everybody.
Motel 6.
Went with everybody to a hotel and lived for 3 months.
Wow. In a hotel?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then had friends offer up their houses and stuff. It was just it was heartwarming. A lot of people that were willing to go out of their way to make it easier.
Yeah. While
catching back up. And then, but the good news is, and that's why I try not to make this sound like a sob story, because a lot of people be like, "Oh, boo-hoo, Mr. Successful record producer." Because the bank account didn't burn.
Yeah,
there was still a little bit of money left. Not much, but a little bit of money left to like move on.
Yeah,
and the big thing is, as long as I didn't just like give up and quit working, I'll make more money. I'll make a living.
Totally.
So the first thing I did was just go back into making records like crazy.
That's great.
And that's kind of what I did. Is I just charged forward and was like, I'm gonna get out from under this, and I, built a house eventually. And
it's funny because you live in Malibu now, so there was no harsh feelings,
no deterrent. Yeah,
like fuck you, Malibu.
Yeah, you would, for a minute you're like that, but then you realize, this could happen anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, to be honest, the good outweighed the bad for everybody looks at Malibu like it's some sort of, guys dressed like Magnum PI driving Ferraris and having, and there is a lot of that, but not where I live out way north in the countryside. I don't have like I don't have friends like that.
Yeah.
It's like super mellow people, that a lot of musicians that have families and kids and whatever. And it's like, I just don't, it's not that kind of situation, like where I'm not hanging out at, at the diamond store, I'm like the poor kid out here.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
But that's what I like about it, is there's a bohemian like level out here, that's pretty amazing compared to,
I love Malibu,
the side that everybody sees in the movies.
I love it out here. It's if I didn't have to be in Hollywood every night, had some kind of lump sum of money, I actually wouldn't live out here. I would live the exact same spot, Todos Santos, down in, the other side of Cabo.
Mexico, yeah.
It's exact in Malibu. It's the same coastline, but no one around.
Right, nobody around.
No one. And just the dopest Spanish pad you could have with a beach of 4 miles. But I love the vibe, the weather, the air, and the solitude of Malibu and that coastline,
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny how great Malibu is. And then people spend all this money for like Hermosa Beach and all that with those oil refineries on the beach and
Totally.
shit. It's so like, this is gross.
It's a
There's nothing
grim,
good about
cancerous
this.
reminder
Oh, right?
to look at.
I also wanted to ask you a question. I realized once we were riding, we didn't talk about it. Me being a big Ryan Adams fan and you working with him, how did that happen?
It was cool. It was he put out Ashes and Fire, that record, and I'd always been a big fan of his since even the Whiskey Town days.
Right.
And so I'd always followed his career and loved his stuff. And he put out Ashes and Fire after he had not put out a record in a long time. And I'd kind of wondered where he went and if he was okay. And I think a lot of people had felt that way too. And he put out this amazing record with that song Lucky Now, which I think is one of the best songs he's ever written.
Right.
And I think I tweeted something like, fuck you, Ryan Adams, for writing such a great song. Because it's like, that's the kind of like competitive spirit that
Hell
you have
yeah.
as a...
I felt that ever since Winding Wheel.
Oh, totally.
You know what I mean?
Totally. And so I just said that, and he immediately back said, he said, oh, well, thanks a lot. I'm a fan, asshole. Like he wrote that back.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, that's cool. And so we started like messaging each other and like just being in constant contact, saying like, hey, man, we got to get together and make some music. It'd be fun, And he was like, yeah, man. And so we hit it off that way.
Yep.
And said that would be the next move. And sure enough, I started coming over to his place because he was talking about me making a record for him, producing a record for him. And that would have been the follow-up to Ashes and Fire. And so I got together and I was working on like kind of going through songs with him at his studio and just getting the talk going and getting the dialogue going. And then my dad took a turn for the worse, and I kind of fell off the radar, and he kind of decided he wanted to produce it himself, and I just went into the rabbit hole with my dad's death, and resurfaced months later after my dad passed, and reached back out to Ryan and say, hey, we hadn't talked in months, and we were in New York at the same time, staying at the same hotel.
Wow. You didn't know it?
No, not till that day, because I was like, oh, you're in New York, I'm in New York, what hotel? Oh, same hotel. So I was telling him I've got a bunch of new stuff for my new record. I've got a bunch of songs. I'm excited about it. I'm excited if I can be excited. My dad just passed, so I wrote all these kind of really sad kind of odes to him and his childhood and my childhood memories and everything. He was excited to hear them, so Ryan was like, oh, let's go to your hotel room. I want to hear them right now. Like, I want to go hear them. And I was really taken back by that excitement and in his enthusiasm to like just hear this stuff right away. And then I started playing these songs for him, and he started just dissecting and diving in and like almost rewriting some of it sometimes and asking me to like change the key to this one down here. And it was like he was producing me, and I hadn't even started a record. Right in the hotel room. And you're talking about a guy who most producers don't want to talk to because I do their job as good as they do. Yeah. And so I can hardly get anybody, a real producer, to produce me ever because they're like, no, you know all the tricks. I'm not going to get in the room with you. Yeah. It's like two magicians trying to show each other tricks, Yeah. And so Ryan there was no apologies. He was just like, he didn't care about that. That's what I loved about it. He's just crazy enough in the best way that he doesn't care if he's producing a producer that already knows all the gigs.
Yeah, I mean, he produced Willie Nelson.
I know.
And
it was a great record, too.
Yeah. And I mean, Willie Nelson.
What the
fuck are you going to tell that guy? You know what I mean?
Apparently nothing. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Apparently he didn't get to get Willie to bend as much as he would like to. Yeah. But that's the thing about Ryan is Ryan's got his opinions, and they're really good opinions a lot of times. And I was really lost at that time because I was so down about my father that I just couldn't think about making a record myself.
Yeah,
I just
perfect
couldn't do it.
timing.
Perfect timing. And then so on the plane ride, literally the next day back on the plane, I texted Ryan and I said, I really want you to produce my record, man. You really need to do this.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, let's do it.
Where'd you guys do it at?
At his studio, Pax Am
Right.
in Hollywood.
Great gear.
Yep.
Did he
Great
play
studio.
on it?
Yep.
Man.
Yeah, it's him and his band.
Oh, yeah.
Did it all. I didn't show up with anything but lyrics. I didn't bring anything. I just showed
you
up
didn't
with
play
lyrics.
guitar or anything?
I played acoustic.
Yeah, wow.
I played like one solo on the record. And that was great because literally 4 days later we had a record done.
Wow.
And it was awesome because I actually had a chance to just sit back and listen to somebody else be a wizard, tell me what to do.
Yep.
And he was great at it.
How long did it take?
4 days.
4 days?
4 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Perfect amount of time. No fights.
Straight to tape. Yeah, before we could kill each other. Straight to tape.
Yeah.
No mixes. No like maybe second takes at most. It was a great experience for me because I grew up making records like that.
Yeah.
And had lost sight of that because I'd had to make so many records for
Run and gun
labels
I
where
would
they're
say it.
and
like Exile on Main Street, stuff like that. 2 weeks,
and that was our jam. We wanted it to be that way, and I'm really proud of it. And I think he did a great job on just he pulled some wizard shit, just being able to like manipulate a guy who already knows the gig, into like going, really?
If you talk to him, tell him I am the king of pinball. He cannot touch me. He knows it. He ran scared. He ran scared of the pinball.
He will
wizard.
hear this, and he will probably come back to you with words.
Yeah.
And that's good.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
So,
come on, son. And I'll let him play whatever game he wants.
yeah, totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got
Maybe we battle it on your $6 million
Yeah, you
man.
should. You should.
God, that'd be great over there, right? And then when he loses, he has to do the podcast.
He will.
Well, man, what about this weather? We're out riding,
Perfect.
right?
It got the clouds parted. The unicorns came in.
This kind of day is like a day where you're just like, I don't give a fuck about that fire or whatever, you know what I mean? And we're
Agreed.
alive, and here we are in Malibu.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. I'm
Yeah.
glad we got this. I would have
too.
been pissed if I got home and went, well, fuck, I didn't ask about that fire.
I just didn't even think about it. But
I did. I had it down. I just took like 3 notes. It was like fire, WEEZER, Georgia. That was the notes.
That's good.
Because I knew everything. Like I knew I'd walk into your studio and I knew what to talk about.
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
Well, thanks, man. I'll see
Thanks,
ya.
man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.